All right. Well, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining today. I'm Barbara Coffey, Director of Economic Initiatives for the City of Tucson. This is our final gathering in a series for small business connecting for success. I kind of feel like Ellen DeGeneres, although don't go running to look under your chair on the big finale episode. There may not be anything under there, but magically maybe there is. But it has been a fantastic run. We launched our first webinar in March of 2020, 1 week after we all fled the office for our homes. And so today we're going to wrap up the year. And also as a wrap to the year, we'll wrap our program and have a conversation, an interactive dialogue. Want to check in with you, our community, our business leaders, to see how things are going, hear feedback and stories from you that might give us some insights in terms of how we as an economic development team here at the city can assist you going forward, and also insights that might serve to inspire others who are on the meeting today. So again, welcome. I see a few faces that are familiar, certainly some folks who have been with us for many webinars over the past 2.5 years or so. So let's start by doing some quick introductions so we know who all's here. I just love for you to share your name, your organization, and how about something you learned in 2022? It could be something you learned about your business or work, or something about the community or the business resources that you have maybe utilized through the year. Anything else, whatever comes to mind, something that you learned during 2022. So again, I'll give you some time to think about that. And actually, I'm just trying to think about it. I will start. Again, I said Barbara Coffey, Director of Economic Initiatives, City of Tucson. And what I've learned is that I'm actually weary of virtual meetings. So I don't know about you, but it has been really great because we've been able to engage with so many folks this way. And I think really brought a lot of new people into our fold and into interaction with us and things that we're doing. But also, I think as we're getting back out in person, it's been really nice to see people. And then what I've also learned is I don't always recognize everybody anymore. And I don't know if you're having that problem, but putting names and faces together at some of these luncheons and other meetings and networking events that we go to is somewhat of a challenge still, but I think we're getting back in the saddle. So anyway, happy to have been, I guess, part of this world with you all for the last few years. And so with that, I'll turn it over. And Lisa, I'm going to go to you because I know you have been with us like every month without fail, just about. So Lisa, introduce yourself. See, we all have to practice this unmute thing. You find your little microphone? There you go.
Hi there, I'm Lisa Woodruff-Medco. I'm from Career and Tech Ed with Tucson Unified School District. And what I have found, and it wasn't really surprising, but it does surprise me, is that there are still so many sectors that are in need of valued employees. And it's across the board. It's all of the sectors. So I'm always here to look to see what we can do to channel our students that are in the career and tech ed fields, work with 10 high schools and 65 programs to create, and we have created an intern to employee program where they intern first, and then with the goal that it's the 120, the longest interview that anybody would have is 120 hours. So, and then hopefully it develops into a permanent position.
Wow, that's awesome. I like the way you state that. And say again the organization, and I definitely want you to put that in the chat so people can also refer to that as they're thinking about hiring talents.
Right. So I'm with Tucson Unified School District. It's career and technical education. So sometimes people refer to us as JTED. We're very much like JTED. Our funding comes from JTED, but we're within all of our TUS schools. So we have 10 high schools and 65 different programs. And they range from early childhood development to dental, to diesel, to machining. It's truly amazing, and it puts students easily on a career trajectory.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here and always being such a great support. I think that's fantastic. Nancy. And unmute yourself because we want to hear all the wonderful things you're going to share. I have y'all wired in for webinars all the time. So now I'm like putting you on the spot. There you
There
go.
we go. I'm Nancy Hesney, and I used to be a mentor with SCORE. And I spent 30 years in the DC area doing business with the government. And the last workshop that I did for SCORE was December 2019, because we used to do them quarterly on how to do business with the government. And so that's how I met you. And of course, everything was shut down. And I know the Small Business Administration quite well. And then when they were trying to roll out the PPP, and that got a little kind of confusing. So there's a handful of family-owned businesses that I know around the area that I just volunteered and reached out and said, you know, I can mentor you, I can help you, coach you. I certainly introduced them to you because me, Tucson's got so much heart, and what they've done for this community and what we've all been through the last couple of years is it's just amazing to me to see how, you know, businesses were able to continue, nonprofits were able to continue with their mission, and it's just been a terrific introduction for me. So I thank you, Barbara, and your team for everything that you've done for all of the people here in Tucson.
Well, I appreciate those words and really, but the hats off to you as a mentor with SCORE. For those of you who don't know, that's all volunteers and retired executives, experts in their field, giving their time back to business owners that are doing some similar things and wanting to understand better how to move their businesses forward. So thank you for what you do. That's valuable work.
Appreciate
so-
that. Thanks.
So thank you. And again, feel free to engage in the chat and share your contact information. I think that's really valuable for everybody here. With that, I will go to Clay. Clay?
I was able to change my name from Brandy to Clay, so that's something that's exciting. My name is Clay Abernathy. I am with Ideal Trade Institute, and we are a school that teaches the next generation of craftsmen by building in modular homes. If you've driven by the Costco over off of Keno and I-10, you might have seen us there on the corner there. You can see our work with our students. And one of the things that that I learned is that working with the state of Arizona is my least favorite thing to do in the world. That's what I learned in 2022. No offense to anybody that works the state. But we got a great year, and we've done lots of really neat and things with the students, and we teach the trades, which is carpentry, electrical, plumbing, trim work, roofing, all the trades, and we do that in a tuition-free program for our students. We had 100% graduation rate, and we also have 100% job placement out of our students.
Fantastic. That's awesome. And I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you shared the feedback on your challenges, because again, that's stuff we like to hear. That's information that helps us figure out how to help you. And so maybe those are some things that, again, we can try to get you unstuck when you are working on some of your pieces with other government agencies. So thanks for sharing that. Erica.
Hello, Erica Ingby with Snore and Stitch Factory. Things that I learned this year, trying to write a list, but there's too many, so I'll just pick 3. First, I learned that there are a lot of great funding options out there for small businesses, more than just, you know, the traditional loan options. So that was huge. I was hoping to utilize one of them or to find a new space for our factory right now. And it's starting to become an issue because I can't find anything because there's nothing out there. Something just fell through today. So my second thing kind of leads into my second thing. Networking is huge. Tucson is such a great place to I don't know, get resources and connect with people. And just talking to a few people expands your network, exponentially. So I've learned that, yes, I need to continue with my networking because this is such a great way to do it. Let's see here. What else? The workforce, like labor in general, it's like very weird. It's up and down and out. I have a workforce development program with the Stitch Lab that we run here at my factory, and there's a lot of demand for it, but there's a lot of demand for higher skills. So I'm interested in actually connecting with you, Clay, and how you do your program too, because we're having troubles placing people into actual jobs that are open, even though they're trained and there's positions open. It's connecting the two somehow. So those are just a few of the things I learned this year. It's been a crazy fun year, but yeah, still looking for new places to move our factory to.
Awesome. And I know I think you and I have chatted a few times about what you're trying to achieve and the moves you need to make for the business. And it is it can be difficult. It is a little bit of interesting times right now with workforce, with real estate, with pricing all around. And so I think many on the call probably feel your pain as well in that area. So we're going to keep after it and try to find some solutions for you.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for what you do. And Erica also didn't say, but she was instrumental in rolling out the AZ Stitch Lab programming for workforce and training up students that can then not only work in her facility, but other industrial sewing operations throughout the community. So that's another place, if you know of employers that need industrial sewists, then Erica is someone to talk to about that. So that's great.
Thank you.
And Francis.
Excuse me.
Oh,
I've
yes,
raised my
okay.
hand, but maybe, Erica, I learned that you're having a job fair on Thursday, December 1st.
We were, but we didn't have enough employers who are able to commit. So that has been canceled. Unfortunately, we're postponing it. Well, not canceled. I'd say postponing it until January, probably end of January.
Oh, okay. So I will take that off my calendar. And I actually did forward your information to a company that I knew was looking for professional stitching, sewing. So I did, it's been a couple weeks now already. I don't know where they went with it. They went anywhere with it, but they didn't respond to my email, but just FYI.
Is it Chrome Hearts by any chance?
Say it again.
Chrome Hearts, what was the organization?
It was an organization that I learned of during the Arizona Tech Council, and they do disposable drones. And that mean that they make them to particularly throw away. That's just one of their avenues of income. But it's that they're needed so inexpensively that you're not cringing like a $60,000 drone that some of my industry partners have, or one that just might be a couple of $100. But it was that company that I sent the information off to. And they're located actually down in Sarita, but they're relocating. So I don't know, maybe they're just waiting until they relocate, but they've got already things in the works.
Thank you.
Well, that's great. And feel free to do, email connections with each other. So again, use the chat to share your contact information. That would be great. And that's exactly what this opportunity is for, just to share some of these opportunities that we can help each other with. So thanks for that. And yes, I'm going to watch for the hands. You can use the hand raise feature and I will pay attention to it. So Francis, going to you.
Hi, my name is Francis Salcido, and I'm a planner too, or a housing planner too, with Pima County. My background is in finance, and I was doing alternative lending. So I actually jump on these meetings because it's just my guilty pleasure. I indulge myself with trying to see what's going on with businesses, and I miss it, although we're knee deep into the housing situation and trying to coordinate and establish contacts and resources. My division, housing division, actually merged with workforce development. So learning a lot about trying to get people trained and back to work. So it's really interesting. So that's what I'm learning, is that just trying to stay focused on the community and what the needs are. Getting into the VITA volunteer program. So with taxes coming up, all of our favorite subject, as far as understanding and help people and individuals and especially businesses, I think. So I used to enjoy helping businesses with their cash flow and their P&L, and even specifically smaller businesses because they just didn't understand. So again, guilty pleasure, but I really enjoy the monthly meetings.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks for that. And thanks for what you do. It sounds like you have a great deal of passion for helping others and especially navigating some of those more challenging financial issues around business. So appreciate that. And I know others do when you're able to lend a hand. So that's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
John, let's hear from you.
Okay, good afternoon. I work for the city of Tucson as well. I'm with Business Services Department. I work for the Small Business Enterprise and Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program, certifying small businesses to get work through the city on the large contracts, mainly a subcontractor program. What I learned this year is I did not realize that this Connecting for Success, Connect Tucson, was having these meetings. And I had met with Nicole, and I believe it was NARDA earlier this year. And it just sparked my interest. And I've sort of just been listening and kind of lurking to these meetings so that I could learn more about just local small business, some of the needs that might be in my position.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thanks, John. Part of the city team. That's awesome. And I'm glad that we're starting to connect better internally. It's not surprising for some of you in organizations like ours, where there's almost, 4,000 plus people. We don't all know each other. And sometimes we might be a few floors away from each other and still not have crossed paths. So it's good that we're able to connect. And we'll have some more. You're going to hear from Narda and Nicole and Francisca and our team in a moment when we share some of the things that they've been working on. So stay tuned for that. But I do want to introduce Irene is in the background. And Irene, you're welcome to, if you have audio and video, you're welcome to say hello. Irene has been a huge help. Mostly behind the scenes. That's why you don't see her often. But she helps take care of all the logistics around some of these meetings and all of the emails, all the communications, the things that help get you registered. So I want to at least offer her a chance to say hello.
Hi, everyone. It seems my video is not working today.
Don't worry.
So I just want to say hello. And one that I learned, this past time since the pandemic is just many services that are available to businesses, starting with our own department. The navigators are helping many businesses in the community, and there's SCORE and the Commerce Authority and nonprofits. And it's just really, really wonderful to see so much support for local businesses. So that's one thing that I've learned.
Awesome. Thanks again. Thanks so much, Irene, for all your help day in, day out. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
You're welcome. And so with that, Francisca Villegas on our team, would you say hi and share a little bit about maybe something you learned this year?
Sure. Thank you for the invitation. And can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. My name is Francisca Villegas. I lead the small business program. And Francis, you're welcome to join us anytime to help us with the trainings that we're running. So I'm taking notes because I'll be reaching out to you. And Nancy, I love SCORE. I was introduced to SCORE many, many years ago by Carol Shaughnessy. And
Right. And I met you when you were at the Y.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So one of the things I learned is definitely how to work inside the city. I've been running projects on my previous role, but this new program was created at the beginning of the year, and oh boy, did we learn, boots on the ground. We started helping small businesses, working with their resource partners, creating programs, and we don't do it alone. We need all of you. So it's been a wonderful experience and continues to be a learning experience So I'm very grateful for the opportunity.
Awesome. Thanks. Thanks so much.
I actually did some credit workshops for your class.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you talked to Narda. Narda
Right,
was
right.
awesome.
So that
Thank
was
you so much.
fantastic.
That's great.
Okay, great. Well, then let's go to Narda. Narda, will you say hello?
Hello, everybody. My name is Narda Flores, and I am a business navigator for City of Tucson Office of Economic Initiatives. Something that I learned this year and all throughout the pandemic is change is a constant. And the favorite part of my job is to sit down with businesses and know what they need help with. And it changes, since, when we started with the pandemic was one thing. Now that we're 2 years after, it's a different thing, and it's always adapting to the, the environment, the economy, and obviously the environment of the city. So my favorite part is just sitting down with the small business owners, talking to them and listening to their feedback, and that would help us and Francisca and Nicole, just try to build the programs around those necessities of our business owners.
Awesome. Thanks, Narda, for everything you do. We have really increased our interactions with small businesses because of this team. And so I just appreciate them every day, really one-on-one with folks, holding their hands through a lot of difficult decisions and paperwork and licensing questions and all kinds of things. So I appreciate that. Nicole.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nicole. I'm also a business navigator. And 2022 was a pretty big year for me. I moved back to Tucson. That's something I had been working on for a while, and I finally accomplished it. And I also joined this amazing team. And I would say that I had some information confirmed for me, because when I had lived here previously, I just really had the feeling that Tucson was unique in how full of just creative energy it is. And coming back 10 years later, I can say that that's been fully confirmed. Working with a lot of business owners every day, and I'm just continuously impressed by people's energy to problem solve and work together. So I feel right at home with this team that works to connect people and bring everyone together to share resources.
That's awesome. Thanks, Nicole. And we're happy to have you here. And it is a interesting phenomenon that we call a boomerang, where people will leave Tucson, but they are drawn back here. And so we're glad that you are one of our boomerang folks in our community and have really been able to then put yourself to work and help other people succeed. So thanks for what you do. I would love to throw out, I'm going to go onto the challenges side real quick here, because our business owners who are on, or if you're working with your nonprofits in your role, if you had a do-over to do for 2022, what would it be? If you had a do-over, something that happened this year in your business or your organization, what would it be? Anybody want to share? If you had a second chance, you had a mulligan, you had whatever you want to call it. Like, yes.
I would negotiate my lease a lot earlier than I did. And I would look for real estate at the beginning of the year, because it was different than the end of the year, for sure. That's my pain point, if you can't tell right now. But yeah, I don't know if I do over. I definitely, the Stitch Lab, again, the nonprofit I'm working through, I wouldn't redo it. I would be more, intentional, I guess, about how we are vetting applicants and who really needs, to create a successful program. I know, Clay, you said that you were 100% in terms of your job placement. Yeah, I think I would have gone out to those other workforce development programs at the beginning and got your feedback. This was a pilot year for us, but I think I would have redone that differently. I wouldn't have done it completely over, but yeah, those are some big things. Yeah.
No, that's valuable lessons. The commercial lease piece, how that's a serious thing, and how much time, that takes, and then how soon do you start that process? I think that is really some
Right.
valuable advice, yeah, to think through that. And Clay, if you have thoughts on, hearing Erica talking about placement for some of the candidates that they're skilling up, what are some things you've been able to do to achieve the success rate you've had?
Well, we've got a huge deficit in our market, so that makes it fairly simple. There are no construction workers. So I wish I could say that it's all me, but definitely not. We're in a struggle in an environment, but it will change. But a lot of it has been I have my assistant full time calling people in the industry and walking our school. So I did 2 or 3 walkthroughs today. So every day we were reaching out and getting those businesses, and we're a very soft closer. I think our approach is great, and except when it comes to getting people to come to our school and see it. We're like, look, you have to come see it. If you're anybody for construction and you don't come see what we're doing, you're not anyone. And so we've used the tactic of you got to come see what we're doing, and that has put those people who need our students in front of us pretty quickly and pretty immediately. And so we've spent a good amount of time and resources on really demanding, and it's probably the best word is demanding that people come see our facility, because what we've done is amazing. And I've heard about what you do also there, and I think the same thing is you're doing something similar to what we've accomplished over there, and people need to see it. I mean, when you're doing great things, a lot of people don't want to take the time, but it's you in the city of Tucson. I found that sometimes you have to just demand people to see the great things, and then they're so supportive and so great. But that first part is a little bit difficult, and I don't know why that is. And that's, sorry, my bluntness on that, but that's what I find is that it's really that initial that's hard to get them out there. And then when they do, they're 100% supportive. So that's kind of how we accomplish that.
Yeah. I'll have to talk more about how your program's set up. I don't want to take everyone's time, but yeah, I'm very curious about how you do something.
Well, you should come see us.
And same here, to come see our
We would love to come see you. It seems like we have very similar ideas on education and helping, and you would definitely love it. So my contact information is on there. Just email me and we'll get you in there, and then you see it first, and then you can show me yours.
I love it. And that's great advice too, Clay. And I think it does, when people can touch and feel a program, when they can see the students, when they can actually see the training that's happening, how valuable that is. And then they're sold on the idea and can be supportive. So I think that was good. Thanks for sharing that and making those connections. Anybody else have a do-over they want to talk about?
Barbara, this is Nancy. I just wanted to offer something specifically for the nonprofits that are in the community. But at the main library downtown on Stone, they have a grants database and a National Foundation database, and they have a nonprofit librarian. And at least once a year, a month actually, sorry about that, they do training, and they teach you how to word search these, your common mission with founders. And then what you can do is download that information onto a spreadsheet and send it to you. And then as time, allows, start pulling together a really compelling, very competitive, compassionate request, and try to see if you can't get foundations to support your 501(c)s or get grannies. So I just wanted to put that out there, because sometimes I think we don't know what we don't know.
Fantastic. That's great advice. And if you do want to put information in the chat on maybe who to contact there at the library for that would be
Okay,
great.
yeah.
Just how to get
Yeah,
on.
it's the main library, the Joe Vance Library. That's all online.
Absolutely. That's perfect. And then being that we're Tucson, right? I think someone says, and I don't know that we've ever researched the math on this, but that we may have more nonprofits per capita than any other community or city. in this country, it's possible, but I know there are a lot of us doing this kind of work. And so that's very valuable advice. I'm going to pass that along to folks that would.
That is a true statement. And it used to be, you know, like with mentor nonprofits, a lot of times what happens is you get so involved in the mission, you forget to build a sustainable business model. So what you do today is of value. We need you to be here tomorrow. And so that's where that sustainable business model comes in. And then, you know, meanwhile, you got to have funding, and that's where these grants and the national database comes in handy. And again, once you get that compassionate, compelling, repetitive quest, you can pump out your, you know, grant requests and proposals much quicker.
Excellent, excellent advice. I love it. And so as we're thinking about moving forward, let's talk about what collaborations have helped us do that. Were there some interesting maybe or effective collaborations that you were part of this year related to your business or organization or your work? You know, this could be marketing or events or other ways that maybe you work together with others to create certain outcomes. What collaborations come to mind for you? Anybody want to share on that?
I can go.
Mhm.
Because I'm very grateful for our resource partners. Like I said, SCORE, Armando Ojeda, he leads the program for SCORE, and he's always part of our programs, and he's always available to meet with the business owners. The SBDC, I'm sure Sue Oliver is busy today, but she's always a resource. I think that the work we do, myself and the business navigators, wouldn't be possible without the support of all of you. So I want to say that we need you. We need the library, we need SCORE, we need SBDC, the Women's Business Center, the Chamber of Commerce, where, you know, to create that ecosystem where we were able to help you, and we did everything we could within our hands. Then you can be introduced to the next organization that's going to help you grow and sustain your business.
That's great. And you absolutely are right. I always say we don't do economic development and small business assistance. We can't do that in a silo or by ourselves. It is a team of people. We're certainly not always the expert, most of the time, not the expert in all the subject matter that's out there. And so what we try to do is connect and facilitate. And so again, appreciate that. That's great, great comment. What other collaborations have helped you?
I would just say, I started working with Startup Tucson a couple of years ago, and they've been an amazing organization the past few years. As I've started a small business, or started my own clothing line, and then growing into something bigger, into a factory, and then doing a workforce, and then doing all these other things. So they've been a very good resource as I moved through that process. And then a nonprofit partnership I made with Moonshot was great. And that, again, was for workforce development. So it's great to actually partner as a for-profit, nonprofit, government all together. It's such a great collaboration that has benefited so many people this year. More, but that's just the tip of that. Like you said before, I think it was Nancy, Tucson is an amazing place for just helping others in their small businesses.
That's great. And it's often, right place at the right time, right? Like, when things come together, when the people show up and they have something that meets a need that you have, or they have something to offer to a solution that you've been looking for. And I always also say, work with the willing, right? If there's somebody who wants to roll up their sleeves and get something done, go work with that person, because things will happen. I think that's fantastic. Others, Clay, it looks like you were jumping in.
I was just gonna say, some of the partnerships I was, there's a lot of government entities on this call. Is that the collaboration that's happened out of the city of Tucson and the state, once they understood what it was that we were doing, has not received any benefit from that yet, but some of the things and the kindness and the want for our program to succeed has excited me about using the government more in this. So we never applied for grants. We just applied for our first grant. We've been doing it all privately funding. And I think that, you know, if I have one regret for the year to answer that question along with this answer, would have been to accept the help on those grants and from some of those entities where I was very much against even trying that. And at the end of the year, we decided to go and start trying that. And we've been welcomed really well on that. So I think that networking wise, that was, you know, that's been something that's opened my eyes also.
That's interesting to hear, and I appreciate your honesty, because there are a lot of people who want to go it alone and who are afraid to accept help or just don't want to make the time for that new relationship or whatever it entails. And I think that's where I think with you heard Francisca, Narla, and Nicole talk about, they're here to help. They're here to help you kind of get unstuck, help create some seamless movement forward. And so we do hope that more and more people will begin to open up and trust that process and just reach in and maybe it can be helpful. And you know what, we learn something from you all. Anybody that comes, you know, and engages with us, we learn 10 times more, I think, sometimes than the other person will go away with. But it is a two-way street, and we're happy to go down that road together. So how about this? If you had one wish for 2023, something that would help your business, what would it be? And it could also be something related to Tucson. Like if you had one wish for Tucson as a community of support and resources or something you need, what would that be? What do you think?
I'm gonna jump because I have to leave here in just a minute to pick up some kids, but I feel like Tucson needs to invest more in the infrastructure of small businesses, as in real estate. You know, that just came to a head, obviously, with my situation, but there is not a lot out there. And, you know, you look at Phoenix, Phoenix isn't in the beast, I know, but there's a lot more going on there. And even the stuff that's been around here, it's either super old and falling apart, or you have to build your own new thing completely. And so there's not a lot in between. There's some retail stuff, but Tucson was never, I think their goal or their aspirations was to be light manufacturing or warehousing at all. I get that, but we're at a really good crossroads with the interstate and where we are close to California, Mexico. I think that should be part of a strategy, I think, going forward, and how we support and actually house these businesses, so we can actually get people to these jobs and actually like it's the whole spectrum. So that's something.
I appreciate that. And I think that's what our development community needs to hear too. They need to hear that there's a need for space. I know we've had some new industrial partners come into the community for the first time in the last year, 18 months. And so we'll work on more of that. I think that's a message our team can take out as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I have to run. I'm so sorry, but it's nice meeting you all, and I will follow up with some of you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Erica.
Thanks.
Good luck to you.
So what else? What other wishes do you have, either for your business or for Tucson to support? What can we do better? What's your wish for 2023?
Hi, this is Francis. Obviously, you know, my wish is going to be for lower rents for housing, because I think the stress that employees feel about trying to make rent that is triple the amount of what it used to be is just weighing heavily on our community. So even though we rack our brains, I mean, we're always going to be there's always going to be a housing shortage. But if we could get back to some pre-COVID levels, I think that would help, and people could get back on their feet, back on the right track, and businesses could enjoy happier employees. That's a key element of just our community.
That's great. I appreciate that. It's been a trying time as we've watched prices go up in every aspect, right? Inflation has sort of been with us the last few months, and hopefully we're seeing some reset to that. But I think we're all in it. So you're right. Housing is at the heart of it. So I'd like to see something better there. This is a point in time where, as we start to, take a look at the last few minutes that we have together, I did want the team to share a couple of things that you could be thinking about as we move in or get ready for 2023. Narda, I want to start with you. If you would share a little bit about what we've been working on to bring sort of supplier diversity opportunities for small business here in Tucson. Tell us what we're working on, what people need to put on the calendar. I'll let you take it from here.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Yes, so the City of Tucson has been working on a supplier diversity initiative where we're trying to bring our small local businesses together with large institutions so that there could be more collaboration, that we could keep it local, and that this business can grow and expand with the help of those larger organizations. So throughout the year, we've been having conversations with them, and when I say them, I mean what we're calling our anchor institutions, such as the university, TEP, AGM Containers, Raytheon, all those larger businesses that we're in constant communication with. We sent out a survey asking for information about what their needs are, how we can help them, make those connections with our smaller businesses so that they can get supplies that they need or services from our local sources. So we've been having these conversations, and so we decided back in summer, I believe, that we were going to host a small business supplier expo that we're calling El Pueblo Business Expo. And that is happening on January 9th at TCC. And it's going to be a half a day, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. event where we're inviting local small businesses and services such as landscaping, advertisement, uniforms, catering, cleaning, a lot of different services to come and be the exhibitors. And we're also inviting our anchor institutions to be, meet them, have a conversation, and possibly create an opportunity for them to contract in the future, and so that that happen. And again, it's January 9th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at TCC. You can read more about it in our website. That is connecttucson.com/expo. You can register there as well and read more information about it. But it's something that we were working on here, and that we're trying to make sure that we are offering the right space and time to make those connections between our smaller local businesses and our large employers in town.
That's great. And I would love it if you could put that information in the chat, put the date and maybe the website that you mentioned that has the links for all that information. I think that would be great. And for everyone here to spread the word on that, it's a real opportunity. When you think about businesses, large employers like our university, like some of our private employers, they've probably been doing business the same way with the same people for 30 years, 40 years. Some of these are national contacts and contracts and businesses that may not even reside or have, impact in Tucson. And so what we're just trying to do is see if there, is a place to open the door for some new opportunities for some of our smaller enterprises. And we know change is hard, especially when you think about some of these things that people just do the same way all the time, but we want to give it a shot. So that's something we're really working on. So how about Nicole, would you share a little bit about what we have going on with another particular program for small business, especially as they think about an exit strategy or they think about other business models? Talk about what we're working on there, Nicole.
Sure. Actually, those mid-sized businesses are probably the best suited for a project that we're working on. We have a Project Equity, and they help business owners figure out if selling their business to the employees is the best solution for them to have a happy retirement. It's kind of, it presents a win-win for our community. We have a lot of business owners who either are or will be approaching their retirements in the next decade or so. And we have, brands with their employees, with their customer bases that serve our community. And it would be amazing to be able to keep those businesses alive and keep all the employees benefiting from them as well, and the customers. And it can be hard to sell your business. There may not be a lot of buyers. It may be hard to get what you believe is market value for a business that you built. And so a solution that is being developed all over the world, in fact, is employee ownership, where the original owner can get fair market rate for their company, and the employees themselves become the owners and run the business moving forward as a collective. And there are different types of structures and different models of employee ownership. So what our partner Project Equity does is work directly with the business owner who might be interested in, and help them understand all of the options, the costs, and basically hand it over to, if they decide to move forward, to partners who can then finish the process off. So we are in partnership with Ward 1, putting together an in-person event in January for employers who are interested in learning about this. By the way, it does have some benefits even if for employers who are not about to retire. So some companies in Tucson have converted to employee ownership even while the owner was in their prime, just because they, like the idea of having employees very involved in the running of the organization, and it's a great employee retention strategy as well. So if you do have a lot of business owners who are interested in this, we get the privilege of moving forward and designing more substantial workshop will help them understand all their options.
That's great. That's fantastic. And there is an opportunity, while I know ARPA funding has supported some of our work with Project Equity, that some of those costs for the initial consultations are offset, I think. Is that right, Nicole? There's some advantage to getting in and having conversations now.
So yeah, the city of Tucson has invested in that partnership with Project Equity. So at least the original, the initial stages of the consultation would be covered, and that's actually a really big benefit.
Yeah, that's awesome. So thank you. Thanks for sharing that. And so again, put that date of the Ward 1 meeting with Project Equity in the chat, and that way folks can take a look at that and save that on their calendars. And so Francisca, if you'll share to round us out upcoming programs for small business trainings, things that you have planned for us in 2023.
We're very excited and looking forward to 2023. And the only thing you need to remember, or you need to write it down, is our phone number, 488-3634. If you forget or you don't take notes, please reach out to us, because we're planning all these things to meet the needs of our community. And one of the things that we continue to help our businesses with technical assistance. We partner with PLC to help our businesses apply for microloans. It's a very good interest rate, 4.99. They go up to $500,000, and we're helping with all the technical assistance. We go over the requirements, and sometimes we have the lender here with us, make sure that he's answering all the questions. So please take advantage of that before the funds run out. We also will be hosting Grow. We partnered with Google, so we're going to be hosting Grow with Google next week, the 6th and the 7th. It's only an hour workshop, but it'll give you an introduction to establish a profile, to solidify your leads online. So it's going to be a great class. So please make sure to share with your resources. And then next year, we're going to be running in partnership with the SBDC, Profit Mastery for small businesses, Profit Soup, basic financial education. So it's going to be a track where you learn the basics and then you transfer to the Profit Soup and Profit Mastery. For those of you that are familiar with the program, it's very intense. I took it many years ago and it was intense. So I decided to start light with the basics and then Profit Soup and then Profit Mastery. It's going to be a great opportunity to understand your financials, your cash flow, inventory. So it's a great class. We will be hosting a Tucson Means Business event where we host and we invite all the different directors within our city of Tucson. So you get a chance to meet with them and talk to business development, to talk to our license department, to, different questions you might have when you're ready to expand your business. So we post all these trainings. We're running out of time, but everything will be posted on our website. But the other thing that please, I urge you to share with your resources and the community members. Every other week, we are hosting how to start a business in the city of Tucson. There's different steps that you have to interact with different entities. So we go over that. And then we help you with licensing, understanding your certificate of occupancy, your business license. And we're doing that in person. So you get to meet with us, have coffee, and it's here La Suprema. I will share the website to register, and that's every other week. And we do it in English and we do it in Spanish. So that's a great opportunity to talk to us, to understand the process, and just to meet with us and brainstorm whatever ideas you might have.
That's awesome.
Can you give that phone number one more time?
Sure. Actually, I'll share it in the chat. Let me post it.
That would be great. And I do want to commend you, Francisca, and the team for the work you're doing, the trainings that you're bringing, especially in Spanish. We're meeting many of our monolingual Spanish-speaking business owners right where they're at by having many of these trainings available in their native language. And again, an attempt to just assist in the best way we can. And sometimes the language barrier is real for so many people. And so we're removing that barrier. And I'm very excited that we have a great team on deck to do that. So thank you. And I think what you've heard today is that there's a lot of opportunities for you to engage. Some of this may be of interest to you. Some of it may be of interest to others that you know who could benefit from this. So I do encourage you to point them to our website and to the resources and folks that you've met here today. So again, thanks everyone. And just before I wrap us up, any final comments or questions from the group? Any other thoughts here today?
Barbara, I have something I'd like to suggest. The federal government has, of course, the Small Business Administration, and the point of contact for Tucson used to be Steve Hart. I don't know if it still is or not. And his office was right down there on. But I bring this up because they have a structured mentor protege program, and it's where they partner large businesses, small businesses, and so that business structure already exists. So if there's any need for the creation of a formal, mentor protege, just know that that's out there.
That's great. I see the navigators all nodding their heads. This is good information. So I think we'll follow up on that and be sure that we're taking advantage of that resource. That's great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
I'll make a comment. I personally invite everyone on the call to come see Ideal Trade Institute. If you put your email on there, I'll email you and invite you out personally again. But if you're in the area, just stop in. We would love to show you what we're doing over there.
That's great. I think we'll take you up on that. So that sounds good. Awesome. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody taking time out of their afternoon to join us today. It's time to wrap things up. And remember, you can find this recording probably tomorrow afternoon, and links to all the previous webinars at connecttucson.com. You can also call our City of Tucson Economic Initiatives Small Business Assistance Line at 520-837-4100, and visit connecttucson.com for resources or to sign up for our email newsletters and other updates. We want to stay in touch with you and make sure that you do have everything you need to succeed in the coming year. So with that, thanks everyone, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Great meeting you all.